75. NSE was started in 1992. So BSE is more than 145 years old, and NSE
Setty sir.
is around, I can say
Sir,
that it is
PPT is
around
not visible, sir.
29 years old. So what is
Sir,
that we need to learn
hello.
from this?
Setty
Sir,
sir,
PPT is not visible, sir.
presentation
Please.
is not available.
It's visible now. I hope it is visible to you. Okay,
No,
so
not yet,
that
sir.
Not yet, sir.
yeah. So we have to
Yes,
build.
yes, it's visual.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Capital market. How are we going to build wealth with the capital market? So that wealth has to be created.
Excuse me, sir.
What way we have to create the wealth?
Sir,
Yeah.
so at the bottom of the screen, there is a option called as activities. In that, the recording option is there.
Okay.
There is a
Where is it,
small
madam?
bottom right.
Huh.
There is a small triangle, square, and circle. There is an image.
I'm just. Is it visible to you, ma'am? Where is
Uh,
it?
Yes, you have on that things. Just click it on it, sir.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
next, yeah, activities. In that, the recording option will be there.
Activities. Recording option. Where is the recording option here? Where is it, ma'am? Recording option.
Actually, it appears in that activities, sir.
So it's not visible here. Recording option.
As per my intelligence, the organizer only can record the session.
Yeah, sir is the organizer.
So, but that option is not visible, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, do you like? There is one more image having 3 dots. If you click on that, is the option visible to you?
Yeah. In this case, where is the option? Turn on captions. Report problem. Report.
Okay.
Recording option is not there.
Not
here.
there. Fine, sir. We will continue. If I find the option, I'll let you know.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I hope it is visible to you all now. It's visible, right? Okay. So I was talking about how can we build wealth in the capital market. See, as I told you, see, NSE has got more than 2,000 companies listed. BSE has got 6,000 companies listed. But the question mark here is how many of us are really investing in this market? See, keeping that in mind, I myself started a company in the campus, which is called as a Capital Advisors LLP. So the main intention of this company is to create the mindset of investment in the capital market. That is the reason I have started. So how are we going to create that? So now, see, now if you see Indian population, we have around 1.4 billion. It is around 140 crores, 1,400 and 400 millions. So out of the population, if I talk about, I can say in crores, it is, as I told you, 140 crores. Out of that, only hardly 10 crores people are investing in the market. But there is a huge, gap in that. How are we going to fill that? So that filling of that is in our hand. So how are we going to get to know? You all know that Warren Buffett, world's richest man, he talks about don't save what is left after spending. Instead, you spend what is left after saving. So we have to focus on the saving, then you have to focus on the spending, because this is a very important note to you, all of you. You have to focus on first saving, then you spend. You have to focus on that, and then only your life will become more fruitful. That is what Warren Buffett, world's richest man, who has been investing and who has been into market for a long time, and he says that you people have to get into investments and saving. हम लोग बचत फिर पूंजी बाजार, and also we have to look into the nivesh, and also we call it as a kind of width that we have to look into. That is why karcha jabardasti hai. We do lot of spendings every now and then. We don't know where the money come from. We just go on spending the money, but that we don't know how are we going to focus on that, because during COVID-19 people have seen they have lost most of their close oneness. The only reason is the poor management of the fund. Had they managed their fund well, they could have saved their own people. So that is why खर्चा जबरदस्त है. हम लोग बहुत से बहुत खर्चा करते हैं, तो हम लोगों को अर्निंग के बारे में, अर्निंग को सेविंग करने के लिए पता ही नहीं होता. So we are getting into lot of spending every now and then. My dear friends, if you buy things which are not required, you would have to sell things which are required. You have to be extra careful whenever you are buying something. You're not supposed to get into the things which has to be sold because of excess buying. So people are living on credit. हम लोग उधार में जी रहे हैं. So people are living on credit. We don't know how to focus on managing that, because it is very important that how people have to know about managing that. So which is very relevant and very important, and that is what people have to get to know, that what is the extent of managing it. So all of us, whenever we get into managing the fund, we have to be extra careful in building that. So that is why spend the time thinking about the money and the way you deal with it. Future is not the extrapolation of the past. Salespeople selling financial products based on the historical returns. We talk about there are salespeople who manage their fund very well, and they know how to manage it in a proper way, in a proper direction. So which is actually
Sir, your
very
PPT
Sir,
again
PPT
is out.
stopped.
which is a very relevant chapter for all of us. Now, if you spend time thinking about the money and the way you deal with it, future is not the extrapolation of the past. Salespeople selling financial products based on the historical returns. Even asset allocation is also very important, my dear friends. You know what is equity? आप सबको पता है इक्विटी का मतलब क्या है, डेट का मतलब क्या है. So equity is a own fund, debt is a loan fund. We have to know that how are we going to take care of such funds. So asset allocation is also very important. Don't mix financial products. It can be an insurance, investment, or a tax saving. Everything is very important. You guys have to understand what is the proportion of savings I have to do, what is the proportion of investment I have to get into, and how I have to protect myself from the contingencies which is connected to the insurance. So that also you should know. Live your life your way. We work for money throughout of our life. Let us think how can money work for us. Ultimately, what has to be worked for us is actually the money which has to be worked for us, because we need to know, we need to understand what this money will give us, what this money take us to the further height. So we are all have to be extra careful in building that, because which is a very relevant factor. All of us, we need to understand that why this factor plays a major role when we get into all these attributes, because this is what is very effective note on that people can survive and they can develop themselves so into lot of other avenues. So that is why you guys have to, being academic fraternity, we all have to understand that how are we going to save. I'm going to giving you some example of how are we going to save. See, please remember, what will you do if you are given a check per month to meet your operational experience? आप सबको पता है operational experience का मतलब क्या है. Operational experience is nothing but we do day to day whatever the buying and selling we do, that is called as an operating experience. So what will you do if at all somebody gives you the check? I'll give you some example. Every day you come from your home to the college, your parents are giving you some money. Out of the money given by your parents, what is the percentage of money you guys are saving? For example, every day if your parents are giving around 200 rupees, out of the 200, if you start saving some 20% of it, 20% of 200 is actually around 40 rupees. 40 rupees per day if you save, for 10 days it will become 10 days it will become 400. For 20 days it will become 800. For 30 days it will become 1200. If at all your degree is for 4 years, you believe it or not, I'm considering only 10 months in a year, 40 months you can make around 50,000 rupees. So this is just, you save money out of the money given by your parents, which is a very important note. All of you have to understand that this money can be invested in some avenue, so that avenue will give you a push in order to go ahead. So that is why you will be experiencing the joy of financial freedom. You would be creative with your expressions to build something big. But unfortunately, nobody is going to give us a check. We have to learn how to get with our own action, which is very relevant. Please remember, our money, we have to earn that money ourselves. Nobody is going to give you any kind of a help when it comes to managing your money, because you yourself have to manage that every now and then, because nobody is talking about nobody is going to help you in terms of managing all that. So you all have to get to know, you all have to think about how are you going to manage it, how are you going to take care of it. So an investor to build wealth, please remember, you have to build wealth when we talk about the investment. So when we talk about that wealth creation, what is that? There are some questions which comes to your mind. What are the questions which comes to your mind? Why do you study? What is the purpose of studying? To work. But why do you want to work? To earn. Why do you want to earn? To spend. Why do you want to spend? To live a great life. But there is one question which talks about, are you stuck in constant circle of earning and spending? Yes, we are stuck. Somewhere we are stuck. That we need to introspect. That introspection has to happen. That should be in your hand. So now you have to focus on the post-tax earnings. Why we call it as a focus on the post-tax earnings? Please remember, every income earned is not equal because of the differentiated tax treatment. You talk about salaried people, you talk about business people, you talk about other kind of an income. See, when we talk about sources of income, we have what we call it as a salary, income from salary, we have income from house property, we have income from what we call it as a capital gains, we have income from the profit and gain from the business, we have income from the other sources. But when we talk about the income from salary, it is salaried people, they are actually, what they will do, professional income are fully taxable. These people, they are salaried people, spend money from the post-tax income. Please remember that businesses pay taxes from the post-expense income, so they are at advantage. Even the dividend income is also taxable in the hands of the shareholder. And LTCG, हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, long term capital gain at 10% is applicable on the profit made above rupees 1 lakh. So on sale of equity shares. So you all should focus on the post-tax earnings, which is very relevant, and you guys have to know about it. Now you have to change your mindset. How are you going to change your mindset? How the mindset has to be changed? What is the parameter to change your mindset? How you need to change your mindset? Why the mindset has to be changed? Why you have to think about it? All that you have to learn. As I told you, as Warren Buffett, I told you in the beginning, he talks about don't save what is left after spending. Instead, you spend what is left after saving. He talks about you have to alter the equation. The equation must be altered. How are you going to alter that? Earning minus spending is equal to saving, to earning minus saving is equal to spending. You earn, you spend, you save. Instead, you have to earn, you save, and you spend. Whenever you earn, you have we have a tendency of spending. So because always our life is talking about you take care of our debit card, we don't take care of we just you don't talk about credit card, we don't talk about our debit card. Debit card is our own money, but we don't think about it. So that must be changed. You earn, you save, then you spend. For example, per day, if you earn around 1,000 rupees, that out of 1,000 rupees, again we have to save only 50 rupees. That 50 rupees won't last long. It's not 50 rupees. Why can't we save out of the 600, out of the 1,000 rupees, at least save some 600, 400 then we spend. This is the formality. This is the form which you have to understand, which you have to go through. So that is why you have to alter the equation. Earning minus spending is equal to saving, to earning minus saving is equal to spending, which is very relevant and very important for all of you to think. Investor to build wealth. My dear friends, see, investor to build wealth, this is a very important parameter which you know how to understand, which you have to know why people have to build wealth when we talk about the investment, because why they have to build investment criteria in the rest of their life. When they think about investment, what will happen is that investment will give them the parameter on which they have to think about the managing of the fund. So that is why you have to change your mindset. As I told you, how are you going to change your mindset? I gave an example to you. Now, saving does not build wealth. Deploy your savings prudently to maintain or improve the value. So there is some value which has to be improved. That means you need to know that how the value should be created. Saving does not alone build the wealth. You have to deploy your savings prudently to maintain or improve the value, which is very, very essential. So which talks about, if at all you have some money instead of putting your money, so what you have to do, you need to create that in a right direction, because all of you have to understand that what is the criteria on which you need to have. So saving does not alone build the wealth. That is what you need to know, which has to be created in the minds of everybody, because all of you have to know that saving alone you won't, because if at all you have 1 lakh rupee with you, you have to have a portfolio. So you have to put some, what we call it as one out of 100,000, you have to put some 20,000 in mutual fund, some 30,000 in commodity, 20,000 in some ELSS, 20,000 in some plans like ULIP plan, and some traditional fund. If you do the diversity, what will happen is that will fetch you the very good result. So that is what is very important. All of you have to know. So you have to build asset. How are you going to build asset, my dear friends? Building asset matters a lot. When we talk about asset building creates the value for you.
Sir, some students are waiting in lobby. Please admit them.
Have to know and understand that asset creation has to come in you, and that creation will give you a clarity on building what you have. So that is why all of you need to know that how this creation of value should be in you. Asset allocation is also very, very important. So you have to, what you call it as, that asset allocation has to come in you. How are you going to allocate the asset? So build asset. Please remember the difference between building asset and, one example is when you complete your degree from this Vidyapeeth Institute, you will get a very good job opportunity in the market. When you get the job opportunity, you may have to get into buying a car or something like that. When you want to buy a car, you may have to approach the car dealer. Car dealer will say that the price of the car is around 20 lakh. Now, when we talk about price of the car is 20 lakh, you will have to go to some other bank. Bank will say that you have to give us the down payment. That down payment is actually for 20 lakh. It may be around 4 lakh. The people have to give. Remaining 16 lakh, the bank will give. That 4 lakh also to depend on the other bank. So when you get all this money, you enter into some contract with the bank for the loan. When you finish all the tasks of the processing fees and all that, when you see your balance sheet shows your personal balance sheet. What will happen is your assets are lesser than your liability. That means your liability is 25 lakh. For 20 lakh, it shows after processing fees, interest and all that, but your asset side shows as it's not an asset. Car is not an asset, just a kind of a liability I can see because it's over a period of time, the value gets depreciated. So that is why all of you, whenever we talk about asset allocation and all that, you all have to be very careful in building that, because it gives you because you need to know that what is an asset mean, what is the liability mean, why there is a difference between asset and liability, why the asset has to create that parameter in order to know what is that it gives to you, in order to understand that the asset parameter will give you a understanding of if something gets depreciating, it's called as an asset. If something gets depreciating, it is not called as an asset. It is nothing but it is a liability. So that is why when you talk about that car, which I told you just now, see, please remember that after completing all your EMIs, if you want to sell the same car to somebody, that car won't even go for 2,50,000 after 10 years. So that is why, my dear friends, car is not an asset. It is indeed a liability. With the saved money, you have to build asset and not the liabilities. So asset is something which earns you while you hold it and as value, hopefully appreciating over a period of time. So asset is not asset just because it appears on your asset side. For example, car. While it appears on your asset side of the balance sheet, it does not earn and its value continuously depreciates. It's indeed a liability. So assets are equities, bonds, rented real estates. Those are called as asset. Please remember, if something is getting growing, it is nothing but an equity or a debt or a what we call it is a bond, etc. Over a period of time, some kind of an appreciation there, which is called as an asset. So that is why when you buy a car, don't believe that it is an asset. Because I was conducting interview for students from BCom, BBA backgrounds when I was working in Accenture. Those days, I was asking first question to the students, what is an asset mean? The students used to tell me that assets are, assets are like furniture and all that. I used to tell them directly, you're not fit for this job. The basic question, what is an asset, you don't know. Because if students like you, people must know What is an asset mean? Asset is an asset which is actually getting appreciated over a period of time. If something gets appreciated over a period of time, which is called as an asset. If something gets depreciated, it is not called as an asset. Indeed, it is a liability. Just now I told about the car. आप car buy करे तो वो asset नहीं होगा, वो liability होगा. So asset allocation is also very important. Allocate your asset prudently over various asset classes. My dear friends, please remember, आपके पास asset हो तो आप अच्छे से allocate करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आपको different types of products you'll get, different types of services you get. Allocate your asset prudently over various asset classes. So asset allocation to happen based on your cash flow position and the financial goals. Understand the asset profile based on the liquidity, ease, taxability, transaction cost, legality, etc. Put a financial plan in place and follow that in a disciplined manner to become rich, which is very important. You all have to know. Now, when we talk about compounding, you all know that compounding is the 8th wonder in the world. See, when we talk about compound, it is the 8th wonder. Doubling period is the 9th wonder. Why compounding plays an important role? I remember one of my friends used to tell me his father deposited only 15,000. 15,000 1980 में deposit किया केनरा बैंक में. वो पैसा 2004 में it became around 4,78,000. There was a jump of 4,65,000, 63,000 in 24 years. So this is a speciality of compounding. Please remember, whenever you're investing in the compounding gives you that kind of a worth, and because which will give you a kind of return out of the investment, because that will definitely help everybody to think about the investment pattern, because compounding that itself gives you a clarity on what is the pattern of investment you have to do, why you need to get into the investment, and why this each compounding gives you clarity on the investment for everybody. So that is why compounding is the 8th wonder in the world. People have to know compounding gives you a lot of returns out of the investment. So now what are the precautions you to take in the stock market? I told you, I myself started a company in the campus. The main purpose of this company is create an awareness in the minds of citizens. Why investment? Why people have no idea about the stock market? What are the avenues of stock market? So this must be known each and everyone. So what are the precautions the stock market to take? Please remember, deal with only the registered brokers and sub-brokers. There are many brokers available. You talk about Anand Rathi, you talk about India Infoline, you have talked about Prabhudas Leather, you talk about Bonanza, you talk about Geojit, you talk about other companies which is connected to the broking house. But you need to first and foremost to check whether these companies are listed in the exchanges. So that is very important. You have to deal with only the registered brokers and the sub-brokers. Receive the contract note from your broker every now and then. Do not be misled by the market rumors or a hot tips. You have to be extra careful in that. Take informed decisions by studying the fundamentals of the company. What is the fundamental basis of the balance sheet, the income statement, or the fundamentals of the company? This is very relevant. And not be attracted by the announcements and fantastic results about a company. You have to do some study on that. Do not be attracted to the stocks based on what internet website promotes. Do your study properly. And no price penny stocks do not guarantee you high result. If there are low prices penny stocks available, it won't guarantee you the high result. आप सबको उसके बारे में study करना चाहिए. If sudden spurt in the stock price, you have to be extra careful. You have to be cautious when we think about that. And any advice or tip that claims huge return may lead to losing some of your stocks. So you must be knowing what is the parameter in building that, why people have to get to know these aspects, and why they have to understand about these attributes when we talk about building that, when we talk about getting into these avenues, why people have to know about all these parameters. What are the avenues of building this, which is very relevant for you. So that is why when people want to know about these parameters, there are a lot of avenues which is talking about life insurance, health insurance, all are very important. So these precautions are very, very important aspect, because you need to know that why life insurance plays an important role, why health insurance plays an important role, why there is an avenue which you have to which is attributable for the development of all of us. Because especially when we get into the savings and investment, which gives you a kind of strength whenever we get into the stock market, all of us can be all of us can be very safe, and because we ourselves can make out that especially when we get into the protection funds, especially life insurance, health insurance, all that, which is very important. Life insurance, health insurance, disability insurance, all insurance patterns are very important. So these insurance plays a major role. So because that is what you need to understand, because life insurance actually which will protect our family, ourselves, in case there is a contingencies everywhere. That is why health insurance is also an important parameter. Disability insurance, if at all it is applicable. Investment in a short-term, long-term debt equity, mutual fund, fixed deposits, real estates, etc. Child education policy, retirement planning, etc. You need to know all these are an important aspect which must be felt and which must be known to you, and you need to know that how these people, these things have to be taken care. There are some great sayings by great people. As you know, Charlie Munger, who talks about as long as you don't do any nonsense with your money, you would end up becoming rich if you're disciplined and patience. You know, when Warren Buffett started investing at the age of 11, he was saying it was too late. I should have started very early. Whenever people want to get into the stock market, they have to first understand that they must understand that there is an avenue which will help them in order to go. Because today Warren Buffett at the age of 5, he started at 11 when he started. Today he's 90 plus, he's called as a world's finance brain of the world. So that is why, because the practice and the sustenance whatever he had over the periods, it has grown, it has made him to grow. That's why as long as you don't do any nonsense with your money, you would end up becoming rich if you're disciplined and patience. That is very important. And there's one more person who talks about, his name is Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey talks about, he's also a great personality who wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about people must have a tendency of building themselves for the growth of their fund. When they develop themselves for the growth of their funds, definitely it will help them to manage their fund forever. So that is why everybody, whenever people want to get into managing their fund, they have to be extra careful. They have to have a disciplinary, they have to have a discipline. At the same time, they must know how they have to manage that. So Stephen Covey says, he wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about right things in life is to do right things. Live a principle-centered life. People have a right note in their life because he has written a book. In that book, he was talking about be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first thing first, synergize, seek first to understand, sharpen the saw, all that. He also talks about right things in life is to do right things, live a principle-centered life. You have a very great principle-centered life, and you must be able to look into that, and you have to grow. So that is why Stephen Covey says right things in life is to do right things, live a principle-centered life, because you all aware what does this principle-centered life gives you, and if at all you have a principle-centered life, how will it help you in order to grow in your life forever. So that is why all of you, whenever you are thinking about managing all that, you have to be very careful, and you need to understand that how this will definitely help you guys in order to make you understand what is the reason for managing this. That is why all of you need to create that extra ability and extra managing power of building that. So that is why this is very important aspect. You need not to know why Stephen Covey talks about things in life is to do right things, live a principle-centered life. There's one more personality, his name is Benjamin Franklin. He talks about it takes many good deeds to build a good reputation and only one bad one to lose it. So here there are a couple of examples which has to be shared, especially we talk about Ketan Parekh, Arshad Mehta, Ramalinga Raju, Vijay Mallya, all these people once upon a time, the way they have developed the wealth, it was huge. They have contributed a lot to the society. The employment generation, what they made out of the investment, out of the job creation, it was very huge. But today their name and fame is being lost. The reason is because of short, time, because of some issues, they had to lose their importance. That is why it takes many good deeds to build a good reputation and only one bad one to lose it. So all of you have to be extra careful. You talk about Ketan Parekh, you talk about Arshad Mehta, you talk about Ramalinga Raju, you talk about Vijay Mallya, you talk about all these people. The only reason is the what we call it as the poor management of the fund. So that poor management of the fund that made them to fail in their life, because the name and name and fame has been lost. So that is why this is a lesson for every one of us, because we all have to know that how this creation, how people have to get to know about these creations, and why they have to understand what is the efficacy of making the things clear. So that is why all of you have to know that why we need to understand that why the financial management is important, what way we can create the fund, and what way we can make the people to get into that. So that's why Benjamin Franklin, it takes many good deeds to build a good reputation and only one bad one to lose it. When we talk about the holistic wealth, what is focus on the holistic wealth? See, holistic wealth consists of, we have physical wealth, we have financial wealth, we have professional wealth, we do have social wealth, we have intellectual wealth, we also have what we call it as a spiritual wealth. These are the wealth creations, because each and every wealth is very important. Physical wealth is nothing but our health. So if you take care of our health, everything is being taken care. If you take care of our health, everything is taken care, because all of you, whenever you are thinking about the wealth creation, because all of us have to understand and know that this wealth creation plays a major role. So that is why physical wealth, financial wealth, professional wealth, all are wealth creations, because that plays a huge role, that gives you a clarity on which how you have to create ourselves the growth of our lives. That's why this is what is very important note to everybody. People must be well aware that why we need to take care of ourselves in the wealth creation, and how it will help all of us in order to build our life in a proper way or successful manner. That is why all of us, when we are thinking about managing the fund or managing the finances, we need to involve all these major parameters. These parameters are very important when we talk about these parameters, because that will give you a push, that will give you a strength in order to how we have to manage everything in a right manner. So that is why these attributes, especially holistic wealth, I told you about physical, financial, professional, social, intellectual, and spiritual. This creates value. I would like to recommend you two important books. These two important books are very important. So why? Because these books will give you a kind of a note, because there is one book called Mehrab Irani's Mad Money Journey. Mehrab Irani, Mad Money Journey. In this book, author talks about, there's a famous doctor whose name is Dr. John C. He's very well to do with his finance, but one day he committed suicide. The reason was he was very busy in building the net worth. He completely forgotten his self-worth. So people must know how to create the self-worth first, then they have to look into the net worth. That's why net worth is difference between the asset and liability. So that is to be created. But first you have to focus on building the self-worth. When you create building the self-worth, your net worth will be created automatically, because you need to focus on self-worth creation. And there's one more book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad. In the Rich Dad and Poor Dad book, author talks about rich people are busy in building asset, poor people are busy in building liabilities. So let us build asset first, and then we will build liabilities. Let us then focus on meeting the liabilities. So that is why people must know how to take care of their asset, and the what we call it as the way in which they have to build their what we call it as the pattern of life. So these are all the very important aspects which you need to know. And my concluding remark to all of you, you have to know that how to be focused, and how you need to understand how can you become a what we call it as a kind of a person who can meet all the expectations of people around. So that is why this concluding remark to all of you. So this is what I would like to say, and I have completed my presentation part, and this is my contact number, my details for all of you. In case you have any doubt, you can proceed now. Otherwise, you can contact me. My mobile number is here. My email ID is there. You can take a screenshot and you can send me a WhatsApp message, or you can connect me through LinkedIn also there. So LinkedIn is also over here. You can connect me at any point of time. So I have done with my formal presentation. So I have done. But if at all you have any questions, now you can proceed with your question.
Sir, I have one question.
Any questions? Please proceed.
Sir, before I say my question, I just request you to send the PPT of this presentation, because many of us not able to join due to technical issues.
Okay.
My question is, sir, you mentioned that you have started a personal finance firm or company in the campus.
Yes.
I just want to ask that when you started this firm, is there any license requirement or government regulation that you need to fulfill?
Sure. See, this company, I was in Malaysia after coming from Malaysia in 2003. I come to 2019 April, I have started. So it's already completed 3 years, 2.5 years already. 2023 we are in now. So see, now the company is mainly into this is I have given a name as a Capital Advisors LLP. Since you asked me the license, and yes, all that is required. How we form the company, same way we have to get the MCA formation, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and then we have to have our PAN, our GST number. We have to get into all the complete company formation process because we are into LLP, Limited Liability Partnership. We got into all these aspects, and then we registered for that. And now this company is into, we have collaborated with Anand Reddy. It's a Mumbai-based company because we need somebody to take care of our demat and trading account. So on 70-30 rules, we got into them, and we have some collaboration with some insurance companies and all that. And we do activities like demat activity, we do training programs, we do CSR programs, we do internship programs, we do, we have placed 3 students of, alumni of our institution to our company. So these are all the activities we do in our, what we call it as the company which has been framed.
Okay, sir. One more question: is there any SEBI regulations you need to fulfill?
Actually, since we have collaborated with Anand Reddy, see, it is connected to the demat and all that. For that, because it's a partnership, it is I can say it is a kind of a franchisee system which we have, as I told you. So for us, no direct link to SEBI. Only is our partner is getting in touch with that SEBI, because our partner is Anand Reddy. They are into broking house, right? So they are in touch with the SEBI. So that is why for us that challenge is not there at all. You yourself also can start this company formation in your campus. So this is the first initiative which you have done. I have thought it's very successful. More than 3,500 demat accounts been opened now, and all because in our institution more than 5,000 people are there. So it's a good venture. Instead of we can go ahead with this kind of a brick and mortar model. It's a very nice model.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'd like to ask, what are the functions your entity is performing? What are the different functions you are working with?
Yeah. As I told you, one is actually the demat and trading function, because we give the support to the clients, as I told you, because it is like, because we have collaborated with another, that's one service. Second service is actually we are giving some insurance services, general insurance services, that is also collaboration with the New India. And then we have what we call it as a third function we give is we give the training programs, we give internship programs, especially for the UG program. We are into PG, right? We give internship programs for the UG programs, like BCom, BBA and all that. And then we do lot of CSR programs, like go to the school, conduct lot of programs. So this kind of a program, what I'm doing today, if you go to my LinkedIn, let us all of be connected to LinkedIn. You'll get to know how many programs I have conducted in 2-3 years. So world, I can say not only to India, I will conduct programs all over. Even see UAE, I conduct, Vietnam, I conduct, Malaysia, I conduct, because I live in Malaysia, and people are asking me to conduct how the Indian market performs, because some activities connected to that. So this is a kind of a CSR program which we do through our entity. So this is what I would like to say.
Yes, question. Is it possible?
Yeah. What is that?
Is it possible to invest in an international company?
I did not get your question.
I'm saying, is it possible to invest in an international company?
Definitely. See, you want to get into the investment, you can definitely get to stock markets. You can invest, no problem. You can invest in the company. How you invest in our company, same way you can invest in other countries' companies also, no problem at all.
Sir, I have a question regarding the same topic. So we can invest in foreign currency as well with the help of our demat account, which we're using for the Indian stock market. We can invest in foreign companies as well with that demat account.
No, that's a separate formality you have to follow. So actually it is merchant banking and all that. No, they separate the entity through the broking house only we can get to, but the same demat account we cannot. Separately we have to get into the merchant banking, and then I hope you are aware of there are some underwriters. Through them, you can get into the foreign investment. The same demat account.
And how?
Some of them, they come up with that, but still there are some other formalities we need to follow connected to the underwriting.
The same thing should we have to do for the like commodities as well, or we can directly invest?
Commodities and all, there is an option for cash market, commodity F&O. See, I'm just taking an example, Zerodha. Let us take Zerodha as a platform. The cash
Yeah.
market, there is a separate wing. Commodity, they separate, and F&O, there is a separate wing. So you have to
Oh.
do some payment, some 200, 300. No, that automatically you can get to open the app and you can do that.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification, sir.
Yes. Thank you. You have taken down my contact details. No, it's here. In case you are able to see, right? LinkedIn, all of us can be connected to the LinkedIn. So you are able to see this here. You want, I can share it on the chat box. If you want, I can
So
share it on the chat box.
please share this contact detail on chat box, sir. It's
So
quite
that
helpful
you
for us.
can directly connect on the LinkedIn. That is better.
Yep.
I'm sharing
it will be good.
the contact.
Sir, if you have the recording of this session, please do share it with the college so that we can again review it and get some more ideas on it.
What, madam? I did not get you, madam.
Sir, also share this PPT with us so that we can
I'll
get
do that.
more
I'll
ideas
do that.
on it.
I'll do that, ma'am. No
And
problem.
if you can share some more references, any of the link related to the topic, we can
Yes.
go through that as well.
Yes, madam. Yes. I hope you got this thing, my details on the chat box, all of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
sir.
You are able to click on the LinkedIn, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
sir. We'll get
Click on.
connected
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
link.
You
Okay.
can send me the, he's able to open. Yes.
Thank
So
you, sir.
thank you very much, all of you, because you have very good questions. And future also, if at all I come there, definitely we'll meet on offline and we'll discuss a lot of things about it. Not an issue.
Yep. Thank you.
One more question, if you don't mind. May I ask one?
Hello?
Yes, students, do you have any more queries?
Yes, sir, I have.
Yes, you can ask the query then.
For example, in Nigeria. Hello, ma'am. For example, also living in Nigeria.
Okay, good evening.
How can we stable our market while the economy is not helping? The situation of our country is not helping.
Okay, no problem. They can send me WhatsApp, ma'am. No problem. They can talk to me on the
Okay.
WhatsApp also. No problem. Okay. I have already shared my details, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody, ma'am. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank